Mina!
Destroy me.
Sacred blood of Christ!
In the shadowy lands of Transylvania, Vlad III Drăculea, later immortalized as the formidable Count Dracula, emerges as the heart of Bram Stoker's legendary horror tale. Immortalized in the fabric of history and the imagination of many, Vlad's life weaves together events from reality with myth. This character initially emerged as a knight of the Sacred Order of the Dragon and Voivode of Wallachia, his existence solely focused on the duties of the church and the fervor of battle. Vlad's devotion was only surpassed by his love for Elisabetta, his cherished wife, whose presence was the sanctuary of his heart. Their love, a beacon of light in the dark shadow of medieval politics and war, was tragically extinguished on a day that would mark the beginning of Vlad's descent into darkness. The year was 1462, a time when Europe was carrying out crusades against the advance of the Ottoman Empire. Vlad led a coalition of Catholic forces in a monumental clash against the formidable legions of the Sultan. The battle, fierce and relentless, ended in a hard-won victory for Vlad and his allies. However, the cost of the war was about to exact its cruelest toll. In the aftermath of the battle, the Ottomans, driven by revenge, shot an arrow carrying false news of Vlad's death. Elisabetta, upon discovering the grim message, was engulfed by despair. Unable to imagine a world without her soulmate, she took her life by plunging into the depths of a river. Upon returning to Castle Dracula victorious, but unaware of the tragedy that had unfolded, Vlad's triumph was soon overshadowed by an ominous sense of loss. His fears became reality within the solemnity of the castle's chapel, where he was confronted with the lifeless body of his beloved Elisabetta. Holding her, his last words were charged with a pain that turned into fury when César, a priest, proclaimed that Elisabetta was condemned to hell for her act. Enraged by the church's merciless judgment, Vlad's grief gave way to defiant blasphemy. His unshakable faith crumbled as he desecrated the chapel, denouncing the deity he once served with his blood and sword. In a moment of sacrilegious fervor, he declared war against the heavens themselves, vowing to return from death empowered by dark arts to avenge his love. Drinking from the chalice filled with blood that sprang from a stone cross he had stabbed, Vlad sealed his fate. His mortal life ended, only to rise again as a creature of the night. Throughout the centuries, the void left by Elisabetta's death haunted him, driving him to seek and convert new brides into vampires, in a failed attempt to fill the abyss of his loneliness. However, none could ever eclipse the memory of his lost love, leaving him eternally bound to the shadow of his previous life, a legend woven from the threads of love, loss, and revenge. In the waning years of the 19th century, under the guise of Count Dracula, a figure shrouded in mystery, the vampire sought the vitality of the New World. With ambitions of extending his domain beyond the remote Carpathians, he set his sights on London, acquiring Carfax Abbey as his new lair. Renfield, the first lawyer sent to the sinister halls of Castle Dracula, fell under the malevolent spell of the Count. His return to London was marked by whispers of madness, prompting the hiring of a young lawyer named Jonathan Harker, who was given the responsibility of handling the Count's affairs in place of Renfield. Upon his arrival at Castle Dracula, Harker was greeted by an aged figure, yet imbued with an unsettling aura. The Count's interest was ignited upon glimpsing a portrait of Mina, Harker's fiancée, in whom he saw the echo of his lost Elisabetta, believing her to be the reincarnation of his past love. Dracula's manipulations began, forcing Jonathan to write letters to Mina, extending his stay under a pretext of obligation. Harker, trapped within the castle walls, became a prisoner of the Count's whims, and in one particular event, Harker was saved from the vampire brides by Dracula himself, only to be abandoned as Dracula set sail for London, leaving Harker to his grim fate. As Dracula traveled to London aboard the Demeter, he rejuvenated his ancient form through the blood of the crew, leaving none alive. Upon his arrival, announced by a tempest, Dracula wasted no time and began to weave his dark plans and machinations into the fabric of London society. Lucy Westenra was the first to succumb to his charms. The vampire started draining her vitality under the cover of night in a desecrated graveyard. When Mina discovers what was happening to Lucy, It is when Lucy's sinister transformation began, attracting the attention of her loved ones and the enigmatic Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, who quickly discovered the vampiric curse in her. As Lucy's condition deteriorated, transforming her into a creature of darkness, her former suitors and Van Helsing united in a desperate quest to confront the malevolence that Dracula represented. Meanwhile, the Count, now rejuvenated and posing as Prince Vlad of Wallachia, enchanted Mina, weaving a web of deception and ancient allure around her. The story took a tragic turn when Dracula, consumed by grief and obsession, fully claimed Lucy, forcing her transformation into a vampire. The solemn task of freeing Lucy from her undead torment fell upon her loved ones, a task carried out with heavy hearts. The battle against Dracula's growing darkness intensified when Jonathan and Mina, now newlywed, returned to London. With the help of Van Helsing, they embarked on a mission to dismantle the Count's power by destroying his earth-bound sanctuaries. Dracula's desperation became evident as he infiltrated the asylum, seeking vengeance against Renfield and making a chilling confession to Mina. His attempts to claim her as his own set the stage for a final showdown, with the hunters racing against time to prevent Mina's complete transformation. The climax of their pursuit unfolded under the shadow of Dracula's ancestral castle. While Van Helsing and Mina faced the seductive threat of the vampire brides, a decisive battle was fought, culminating in the Count's mortal wound. In the chapel of his forsaken faith, Dracula sought solace in Mina's act of mercy, a poignant request for peace that she granted tearfully. With his death, the curse was lifted, revealing a vision of redemption as Vlad and Elisabetta found their eternal rest, united beyond the veil of mortality. Count Dracula stands as a paradigm of vampiric power. His life, extended over more than 4 centuries, is a testament to his immortality. This longevity is matched with a physical prowess unimaginable to mere mortals. Van Helsing, a keen observer of the supernatural, remarks on Dracula's superhuman strength, comparing it to the combined strength of 20 men. Such power is vividly demonstrated in moments of fury, such as when Dracula finishes Quincy with a simple flick of his wrist. Moreover, Dracula's agility transcends mortal capabilities, granting him superhuman speed that baffles those who encounter him. His ability to appear and vanish in the blink of an eye, leaving no trace of his movement, is but a shadow of the vast abilities that lie within him. This spectral speed is complemented by his remarkable ability to defy gravity, scaling the vertical planes of his castle walls with the ease of a creature of the night. The Count's mastery over form and essence allows him to shape-shift at will, assuming various appearances from monstrous to mist, each form serving his inscrutable purposes. Whether as a wolf, a bat, or even a swarm of rats, Dracula bends the laws of nature to his will, embodying the terror that lurks in the night. Seamlessly transitioning from the tangible to the intangible, Dracula's dominion extends to the realm of shadows and psyche. His shadow, an entity unto itself, moves with a malevolent purpose, independent of his physical actions, weaving fear and decay into the hearts of those who behold it. This manipulation of shadow is but one facet of Dracula's psychic prowess, establishing a telepathic link with Mina that transcends the physical world after she drinks from his cursed blood. Dracula's hypnotic control and telekinetic abilities further showcase his mastery over mind and matter. He commands sleepwalkers and opens doors with but a thought, exerting his will over the surrounding world. His control over the elements is equally formidable, summoning storms and bending the winds to his command, a display of power he promises to share with Mina, offering her dominion over the tempestuous heart of nature itself. The loyalty of his servants, both human and beast, underscores Dracula's absolute control over the wills of others. From the gypsies who serve him unquestioningly to the wolves that heed his call, Dracula's influence permeates the natural and supernatural realms. Even his interaction with traditional vampiric weaknesses is a testament to his unique strength. While crosses and holy symbols may discomfort him, they cannot always repel him, as demonstrated by his ability to immolate a crucifix through sheer force of will. In the physical realm, Dracula's martial prowess is as legendary as his supernatural abilities. His battles against Ottoman invaders are marked by a ferocity and skill that speak of his noble warrior lineage, displaying a combat ability honed over centuries of conflict. Complementing his physical and supernatural talents is a mind of genius-level intellect. Van Helsing, perhaps his most formidable adversary, recognizes the enormity and power of Dracula's intellect, a mind capable of plotting across centuries and continents with unfathomable depth and cunning. Count Dracula, a figure engraved in the pillars of literature and legend, stands as a testament to the multifaceted nature of villainy and charisma. His story, a tapestry of darkness interwoven with moments of profound human emotion, concludes not with a mere demise, but with a legacy that continues to haunt the imagination of generations. In him, we see the embodiment of contradiction, a creature of the night who longs for the light of days past, a heart that beats with the fervor of lost love, yet pulses with the cold cruelty of the undead. Dracula's personality is as complex as the powers he wields. He is at once the noble prince, valiantly fighting for his people, and the malevolent vampire, seeking to spread his curse. This duality reflects a deep loneliness and an incessant search for connection, manifested through his relentless pursuit of Mina, whom he believes to be the reincarnation of his beloved Elisabetta. In his interactions with others, he oscillates between charm and threat, capable of profound gentleness and terrifying aggression. His intelligence, vast and ancient, grants him a perspective on humanity that is both distant and curiously intimate. He possesses an unmatched ability to manipulate, yet his actions are often driven by an emotional depth that belies his monstrous exterior. Despite his inhuman nature, Dracula's quest for love and his battle against eternal loneliness makes him a tragically relatable figure. His resistance to certain vampiric weaknesses and his challenge against symbols of faith reflect a complex relationship with the divine, embodying his struggle with faith and redemption. He is a character who defies the binary of good and evil, challenging the viewer to empathize with his plight while recoiling from his deeds. Ultimately, Dracula is a character that transcends the boundaries of horror to explore themes of love, loss, and the human condition. His story, a blend of historical myth and literary invention, serves as a dark mirror reflecting the eternal human struggle with morality, identity, and the quest for immortality. As the curtain falls on his epic story, Count Dracula remains not only a symbol of fear, but as a poignant reminder of the eternal quest for love, acceptance, and the light within the darkness. Hey, don't go just yet. If you enjoyed my video, I'd love to recommend another one for you to watch.